the door, take the leap, and be the dream.
Welcome to the Be the Dream podcast, where you'll find tools to help you gain the motivation to leap into a life you love. Hey guys, welcome back to the Be the Dream podcast. So for today's episode, I wanted to share with you my speech for the competition that is coming up for Toastmasters. Now, most of the time when I give speeches, they're very off the cuff. I don't plan them very much. I kind of will write an outline, but when I am competing, I am I'm different. I write out my speech and I try kind of to memorize it, and I actually practice it and prepare it and work really hard on it. So I gave this speech a few days ago and entirely forgot to record it. And if I had recorded it, I would just be sharing with you the recorded version that I did live. But if you have been following this podcast, then you might know that I have post-concussive syndrome and have struggled with memory a bit. If you are new, then I will tell you that I've had 2 concussions in the last about 6 months. Back in July, my severely autistic 13-year-old punched the headrest of the car and it burst open because it thought it was a car accident, and it hit me really hard and gave me a very severe concussion. They thought I had a brain bleed. I did not. And then in October, same child was sitting on my lap during choir practice at church, and he sat up really hard and elbowed me in the eye socket, accidentally, and I thought I was going to have a black eye, and 5 minutes later I was rubbing the back of my head, wondering why I suddenly had a splitting headache and the back of my head hurt instead of my face. And then I was nauseous for a week and had just a never-ending splitting headache, and I was like, oh no, not another one. So the post-concussive syndrome, I was back in the ER for it and everything, and diagnosed with it, and it's just so much fun. It comes and goes, especially with a lot of stress, and I've had a lot of stress in the last few weeks and noticed that I'll just forget things. My brain will just totally blip. So I wrote this speech the night before I gave it as I was waiting for inspiration, because I can't force these things to come. I have to really meditate and sit with it, and then it will just kind of flow out. So it kind of wouldn't come until the day before. And I had half of it, and then the day before the rest of it just flowed out, and it was fabulous, and I wrote it all out, and then I was like, I hope I'll be able to remember this. Well, thankfully I remembered all of it. It was fabulous. I remembered the whole speech. But I had my microphone pinned to my collar and totally forgot to turn it on. I had my phone stand, forgot to set it up, forgot to turn my phone on, forgot to record it. Also, I gave 2 huge lectures in my 2 classes I teach at BYU that day. I had one right before and right after, and it was just a wild day. So I was very grateful that I remembered the speech and I did well in it. But I did not remember to record it. So I'm going to practice it again here for you in this episode. I'm also going to be practicing it again tomorrow live in a couple of places. So this will give me lots of opportunity to practice it. And that is one of the ways that I think we can best embody being the dream. It's stepping into who we want to be. And that's, one of my big, huge goals for 2025 is doing more public on-stage speaking events. So here I go. I'm preparing my speeches, and I'm giving them and practicing them, and I'm being what I say I want to be. And that's what I'm doing. So here I go. I'm going to practice this in front of you. One of my goals as I record this and as I practice it is to tighten my speech time up, because I was a little over it in my competition. If you're over, you're disqualified. So I'm excited to share this. I wanted to share with you a little bit about what this speech is on. When I write speeches for this motivational speech competition, I tend to want to choose a topic that summarizes me. Like, how do I write a 5 to 7 minute speech that encompasses all of me, that is the most impact that I can give? Like, what do I really want to share with the world? What's the most poignant thing that I have to give right now? And so this might be, the general topic of this speech is going to be a message that I've shared a couple times, I think, but it's really important to me, and it is about realizations that I've had a lot lately, or that I've had recently, that just hit me so hard, but I think I've packaged it in a way that makes it more impactful. So this speech is called Take the Leap, Be All of You. And I'm really proud of how it's come together and the way that I've been able to craft my stories and tell them in a way that I didn't used to be able to do. So here it goes. Most moms want to know what their baby is going to be like after it's born, right? I am sure that my mom was wondering who I would be. Well, it didn't take her very long to find out, because the day I was born, I did not have a cute little baby cry like every other newborn. Nope. I had an epic operatic wail that just echoed down the halls of that hospital. Then, when I was about 5 years old and I was in the children's choir at church, my parents were in charge of directing this choir. They would jump up and down, wave their arms, and flail themselves about, trying to get all of the kids to sing as loudly as possible, practically begging them to sing at the top of their lungs. Except for you, Karaleigh, you need to blend. By 5th grade, I had made the New Year's resolution to become a shy person. Well, I failed at that one. My internal, authentic self would just seep out through the cracks, no matter how much I tried to hide it. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its entire life thinking that it is stupid. Well, guess how I felt as I spent my whole life trying to be quiet and shy and small, when really I was not. Can anybody relate to that fish? Yeah, I definitely can. Except for the more that I thought about this metaphor, the more I realized I'm actually not like a fish at all. I look terrible in yellow and I hate getting wet. And please don't make me go swimming. Like, I can swim, but I don't want to get in the water. You know what I realized? Actually, my spirit animal is a peacock. Of course. Did you know that peacocks are actually one of the loudest animals in the entire world? Yeah. Plus all of those amazing feathers, and they just stick out and shine everywhere they go. Yeah, I'm definitely more of a peacock. So I want to tell you about the hinge point. That's the moment that changes everything in a story. But of course, every good story starts with a dream. My dream has always been music. I always could see myself standing in the center of the stage with the spotlight shining on me while I sang at the top of my lungs and had an adoring crowd cheering for me. But I didn't know where to start because, like, all those tree climbing and non-tree climbing animals, there's a whole lot of different kinds of music. And I really struggled to figure out where I belonged in that world. So I started in the place that felt the most natural. I started writing what came to me, until the day that some YouTube trolls told me that I was fat and that I needed voice lessons. Pivot. What about opera? Certainly a big girl with a big voice could find success in opera, right? Well, 1 decade, 2 auditions, and 3 kids later, I gave up trying to get into the BYU opera program. Pivot. Singer, songwriter. I love writing music. I was writing music in middle school. That seems like a good idea. So I took a songwriting class at BYU. Now, our very first assignment was to just write something. And so I went back to what I knew and I started writing something that came to me. It's dark in here, but at least it's safe. Confined in here, but it's familiar. But still there's a part of me that longs for more. A certain something inside of me that wants to explore. Ooh, that song just poured out of me. So we went and everyone got to share their songs, and the teacher played all the ones that he thought were the best, and he praised each of them, and my song did not get played. And as I listened to a steady stream of pop and rock, I realized that my song was different. I went up to the professor at the end of class and asked him what he thought about my song. And what he told me would have a massive impact on my life. He said, "You can sing, but that doesn't make you a good songwriter." Pivot. I tried rock, I tried jazz, I tried pop, I tried every other genre I could think of, but I still couldn't figure out where I belonged. Are you ready to hear about the hinge point? Now, a lot of times we think that a hinge point is just that one singular moment, but it's actually more like a series of events. It's more like a series of realizations that kind of all accumulate into one really big aha. So, number 1 was, this is not what I want. I had the opportunity to work on a song with a friend for a sync licensing group, which is where you're trying to write a song that will get paid for so that you can put it into a TV or commercial, something like that, right? Get it on TV or get it into a movie or into an advertisement. And of course, this one happened to be like techno pop. Now, my friend was trying to help me match the reference track, and she kept telling me that I needed to lose the vibrato and the slides in my voice. And the recording process was absolutely miserable because it felt like I was taking all the me out of my voice. This is not what I want. Number 2, my voice is a gift. Right around that same time, I got to sing at church, which is one of my favorite things to do. And this time I got to sing like one of my all-time favorite songs. And I got to just be free and sing my way. And at the end, somebody came up to me and asked me where I was trained, which, if you don't know, is a huge compliment to somebody who's spent a really long time in training their voice. And I realized that that was where I really belonged, was just being me, and that my voice is a gift. Number 3, I was enough all along. After I had that realization that my voice is a gift, I decided to go back and listen to that song that I had written for that class. I realized what an impact those words my professor had said had on me. So I went back and I listened to that song. It's called Take the Leap. If I allow the pain to find me, will it break me or make me? If I open myself up, will it kill me or build me? Should I live with regret, all my passions unmet? Or should I take the leap? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. That wasn't a bad song. It was like I was hearing it for the first time. That was musical theater genius. I had been enough all along. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its entire life thinking that it is stupid. Have you been judging yourself for your ability to be somebody else? It's time to take the leap and just be you. Oh, well, that was the end of my speech. Yay. Okay. As somebody who's still practicing, I can tell you that was like 9.5 minutes. So that was 2 full minutes over, not 30 seconds over like my last run. So I definitely need to find something to cut. But I hate having time restraints because I wish I could just get up and talk forever. That is the whole gist of it. I'm going to have to find something to cut. If you can think of what I should cut, let me know. If you have suggestions of something that should be rewritten or something that should be swapped around. Originally, I had that fish quote first, and then I had the 3 micro stories. So let me know what you think. I would love to get feedback on that speech. I think it totally comes out different when I'm not laying on my bed in my bedroom versus when I'm like in front of people giving it, but that's all right. You do what you can do. And I'm going to give it again tomorrow. I really have to shorten it if I want to actually qualify for this competition. But this is what it takes to be the dream. You practice and you own your value. And I have to model it for you, right? It takes me standing up here and going, you know what? I am a speaker and I do have, as nervous as I am, like I do have something valuable to share. So do you. And I hope that you know that. Have an amazing day, guys. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Be the Dream podcast. In the show notes, you're going to find links about how to be a guest on the show, how to find my website, and anything special I have going on at the moment. Please share this with a friend. Let them know that you're thinking about them, and let's share inspiration with as many people as we can, because we can all use a little more motivation in our lives. See you next time. And until then, remember that being the dream is not about what you do, but about who you are.